so now we could all... Patty.
And a movie I love. This movie is called The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
And
Now,
there you go.
they call it a horror thriller, but I call it a thriller suspense.
This is not what I was expecting. Can I see one?
No.
What's that for?
Make sure he's dead.
Sheriff. What happened?
No ID, no fingerprints in the system. For now, she's a Jane Doe.
He needs my help right now. 11 o'clock, I'm all yours. Subject is in her mid to late 20s. Hair brown.
Flash flood warning now.
Eyes gray.
What happened to you?
First, they bound her. Then they ripped out her tongue, poisoned her, paralyzed her, forced her to swallow the cloth. What is that? Dad?
No one could see what we have seen.
Main character. There's only two people who carry this whole thing, and a dead person. So
I thought you were
I'm going to
say-
leave out the dead person because she just lies there. But Brian
And actually,
Cox,
she's a real person. I mean, yeah, she's an actress.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, Olwyn Kelly. But
Yes.
Brian Cox plays Tommy. He's the older man. You've seen him in a million movies, and he's a brilliant actor. And Emil Hirsch, who plays Austin, is directed by Andre Overdell. And they're two father and son coroners who experience a supernatural phenomena while examining a dead woman's body, who would be Jane Doe. The beginning starts out where you see the police come in and they find this dead body in perfect condition and, of course, take her to the coroner. And to round off the whole thing is, as they're performing the autopsy, they're finding things that don't make sense in an autopsy. But what's really good is they explain what you should see in an autopsy and what is different. And it's layer after layer, literally as they're doing her body, which I thought was symbolic of all the different things that are unnatural about, like her being tattooed from the inside, not the outside. A piece of fennel wrapped in paper stuck in her innards. And as these things, as the more they're digging deeper into her, all these supernatural things start happening that at first, they just blow it off like, oh, it's the wind. It's like they always do in movies, right? it's the monster from the sea. It's just anything. And what she is doing, they realize she is it's from a tooth they find that's been buried in her. Because
It's her tooth, right?
Yeah, it's her tooth that's been buried inside her. So she's been made to swallow it in a piece of cloth. And they realize this writing is from the 17th century, that's when the witch hunts were. And the big roundabout on all this is she was an innocent girl at the time who they believe, because of the intense torture that they put on her, has turned her into a witch. And her revenge is anybody who touches her or tries to, hurt her, which would be an autopsy, that's how she gets her life back. And it's a great. I thought a great suspense movie, and I just thought the whole story was so unique, and that's one of the things I look for: uniqueness. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to wreck the movie.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this movie. They have it as supernatural
They do.
horror thriller.
Yeah.
And there is a natural element to it. Kind of like the movies we've done in the past that are kind of anti-war. This is like it has the same kind of thing that you turn perfectly ordinary people, like this girl. She's like just a girl. And like the son says, she's a witch. And he goes, there were no witches. These were just girls that people turned in for whatever reason.
Right.
Hysteria.
And I mean, literally, her tongue is cut out. You can see she's
Torture's
been
insane.
tortured, and this has turned her into a monster.
Right.
And that to me is, I think, the moral of the story is payback is a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
that's good. Yeah.
And and now she does not discriminate anything that touches her. Like when they're doing the autopsy, they notice her waist is like, why is her this
17
body
inches.
isn't right? You know, her waist is way too small for her thing. And the father, who's the older pathologist, he says, well, if you wore a corset for a long time,
Yeah.
you would have this kind of and there's the things that make you realize that she is not from
This era.
yeah, I mean, just what happened to this poor girl is unbelievable. And so, but when you do terrible things to people, even when you're in your moral high ground, whatever, like she's a witch,
Yeah.
right? They also can turn into monsters, and she does. That's basically it. And so I kind of liked it. I would have liked to know more about this girl. I wish, kind of like you in my movie, that you wish you would know more about that child.
Right.
I wanted to know more about this girl. I like who was she? What happened to her? But they didn't really go into that.
Well, they can't because there's the corner. How they did that was by what they exposed from her, what happened to her.
Yes.
Because they can never know who
Maybe,
she was.
yeah, maybe they're waiting on the sequel.
Yeah, there you go.
There actually
Okay,
is a
their story,
Jane
really.
Doe too, I heard.
So
Which
yeah,
I understand. I completely understand.
I thought the idea was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Me? Oh, okay. It's very funny because, first of all, I want to say I thought Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch were very good. I love
They carried the
films-
whole thing.
I love these type of films that you're right. I don't see it more as a horror film, but more of a suspense film.
Right.
And it is supernatural, but I like the fact that it's these two guys in a mortuary having to do an autopsy. They hear over the radio a storm is coming
Of
and
course.
electricity is going out. And Emile Hirsch, who's the son, sends away his girlfriend. They're going to go out and have a date, but because this Jane Doe comes in, he decides, I'm going to help out my father. What I did like between the two of them is when they discuss things like his mother passing away and little things,
Right.
little character things that I thought, wow, they really hit this. And I will say this, the young girl who played the dead body, I'm sorry, I thought she was integral to that.
Yeah, she
Even though
was.
she lays down there, she is sort of naked throughout almost the whole movie.
It's the
She's
eyes.
lying there, and yet there is no expression, but I can't imagine having to lie around
That's what I
all
was
these
thinking.
hours of everything,
Well, you know-
and having to stay that still.
Take 20. Right.
One of the reasons Owen Kelly, that's her, was selected to play Jane Doe was her knowledge of yoga, which helped her control her body and breathing.
Right.
See, that's yoga, so she
See,
controls
that's
her
what I
breath
mean.
and body.
I remember watching Coppola's Dracula.
Oh, love
And
that.
at the very beginning, when Winona Ryder's character supposedly threw herself off the building and is dead, you see her breathe at the beginning. Again, that was like that certain thing like Sean, I think, mentioned about 1973. That shouldn't happen, so it just took me out of the movie.
Right.
That's what it did for me for Dracula. Now, this movie, that's why I kept watching. I said, okay, she's going to screw up.
That's
and
what
I
I thought.
literally was watching the body because I thought,
Yeah, me
there's,
too.
like the body's going to reanimate or come back to life or walk around. You'll see her do something, and in a way you sort of do, but you don't
Only
know
at
if
the
it's
end.
you don't know if it's her though. To be quite honest,
Well-
it could have been somebody else playing that.
Remember,
right?
right at the end, the toe moves. That
Right.
means because she has killed enough things
Well, also
to show
her-
she's being reanimated.
Well, yeah, and her wrist and the foot and the whole
Right,
bit.
yeah.
Now, what I thought was sort of fascinating, though, was, again, like you said, classic kind of horror story, haunted
Right.
house. It's in this dark room there, and they even get trapped at one point. They have a cat there. Every element of what is supposedly creepy is there. Yet I never found the movie creepy.
Me
No, me
either.
neither.
I always just thought, oh, how is this going to end, though? Now, my problem was, like a lot of these type of movies, like I think Session 9 was a movie like that. I wish I could think of another one, but where these, I think, really good horror, suspenseful movies
Right.
are on a plot of a supernatural,
Right.
and it just keeps you hooked until they get to a conclusion, and the conclusion is not something I found satisfactory.
That's so important.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to do a film like this, which is why when you said there's a sequel, I understand it, because then you're going to have,
Explain her.
this body follows these sort of killings. Because at the very beginning, there is a family that's dead in a house. I believe there are 3 bodies.
Right.
I'm not sure. I know there was they mentioned 2 people, Paul and George,
Right,
or,
right.
or the woman's name and something. So we know there's at least 2. I thought there was a 3rd one upstairs. I'm not
There's-
sure.
there's 3.
There's 3. Okay. And then, of course, they find this body in the basement. Now, right there, I thought, okay, it's cooked me.
Yeah.
Why is this body half unburied in the basement?
Right.
And then she's the Jane Doe. And so, of course, that's where they said we need the autopsy.
And it also shows that they say that the way things look like they were not trying to break in. People were trying to break out.
Exactly,
right.
exactly.
The other-
Which you
sorry.
understand as the movie goes. But
yeah.
what I do like about it is, like I said, is just how wonderful they just sort of keep the suspense going. Like things happen, things are explained, things are uncovered. It's like, this is really good, and the conclusion is what I think is almost like the Suspect Zero, that
Yeah.
okay, you're hunting this guy to find him, but now we know it's like, oh, you did it to create something else, and
Right.
that's when you said about the creating of the witch. See, even I was thinking, I don't quite get that part myself, but of course, in the dialogue of the movie, because they don't really know either.
No.
In fact, they're what I love is when they're saying we have to find the cause of death, and when they come to conclusion, well, was it really cause? Which I mean, stuff like that I really like. But that's why the ending was sort of unsatisfactory to me, with the exception I thought, well, they really did leave it open to do a follow-up, which they could easily do.
Well,
They could.
I thought the father made the point that she's just on her way somewhere, right? We're just kind of getting in the way. That's
Right.
what he said. It's like
Yeah.
we're just in her path, basically.
Right.
It's not personal. It's like I actually don't know that the storm wasn't caused by her either.
The storm
supposedly-
was caused of it. It was,
Yeah.
The
Right.
storm was
Yeah.
the
It
illusion.
Was literally in the mortuary,
Yeah.
because you hear the radio story saying, "Oh, it's another fine
I
sunny day out."
kept mentioning that.
Right,
So all this
exactly.
is her
Yeah.
attempt to keep them.
Right.
But she's trying to
manipulate them somehow.
But she's trying to do something. She's trying to,
Right.
like he said, she is on a mission of her own that we don't know. We don't know.
Right.
They don't know.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and we're just on her path.
Right.
We're just in her path right now. So if they could get out of her path, it would be.
They would have been
But
fine.
then she
Better.
needs them because she can't come to. But funny enough, what I thought was great about the ending is, okay, first you see the wrist, so you know something's happening. And I'm thinking, oh, please just don't bring her back to life. That's just too easy. It's at the end when the toe moves. So you know it's happening.
Okay,
Sorry,
George.
George.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, me? Okay.
Yeah.
Finito.
I could see he has something to say.
No, yeah. Well, one thing is that the movie made to me. I was thinking, if you believe in something strongly enough, you will create it. In the
Yes.
Salem trials, they were killing innocent girls left and right, and not torturing. And I actually felt sorry for the witch. The way they kept describing, every time they would do a different, they would go deeper in the autopsy. They would describe some new
Horror.
creative torture that
Right.
they did, and I was like, "This is people went through this stuff."
Yeah.
And I go, "Wow, that's terrible. That's because of because you think they're a witch." So basically, they believe that their wish is so strongly that they do it to them that their own beliefs created a witch. They, it's
Right.
like, if you believe in something strong enough, you will create
That's
it.
true.
So they created her.
Good point.
And then what was the second point I was going to make? I was one thing. I felt sorry for her. So, but I also wasn't liking that she was, hurting people that had nothing to do with what she got. But you just explained that to me when they were just in her path.
Right.
Well, come on, man, you killing the nice innocent people, but they're in her path. So she's
she's on her. She's going. She has her own place
Mission,
that she's
yeah.
going.
And as someone said, she stands against the symbol that works against the brutality of the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
I,
That's really what they say the movie is about.
It's making that point, and I go, yeah, but again, he does make the point of how horrible society is to certain groups if they have certain belief.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, it's
so
Edit.
and also what's going with what we say? Sorry?
just two things that I thought were interesting. This was the director's first English-speaking movie.
I know.
And I thought it was really smart of him. He insisted on using a real person.
Oh, he
as
did?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
As the
because
made
it's
sense.
because
Very
they say if you get
interesting.
closer
Yeah.
to when you get into the autopsy and closer to the body, people will see that as a mannequin.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
can tell.
So that says something. Like he had a vision, and
He created a mood. By just
Well,
having
this
a
is the
real
guy that
person,
did.
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Troll Hunter.
Yes.
He directed Troll Hunter,
Right.
which is done like a Blair Witch, but
Right.
that kind of like
Right.
captured footage that they found,
Yeah.
but it's with trolls happening.
Right.
So, but he's here's the thing that I found out about him. He was inspired to do this film after watching The Conjuring. He said
Yes.
he thought that The Conjuring was like a modern day classic horror film, and he wanted to do something like that. So somebody, the script was sent to him for the autopsy, and he said, basically, I'm gonna do the script. The script was previously on for this movie on a thing called the annual blacklist. You guys ever heard of that?
No.
I researched that. The blacklist is actually an annual survey of the most liked motion picture screenplays not yet produced. So it has been published every year since 2005 on the second Friday of December. It's by
Really?
Franklin Leonard and a development executive who subsequently worked for, he's a development executive, and Will Smith's Overbrook Entertainment Company. So basically, they just post all these great screenplays, and that have not been made into movies yet.
That's a
it's
great
been
idea.
Approximately 1,000 screenplays, have been done, and some of the movies in this list have been Argo, American Hustle, Juno, The King's Speech, Slumdog Millionaire, Spotlight, The Revenant,
Wow.
The Descendants, Hell or High Water. So there is this list of
Great
great
movies.
screenplays that haven't been made into movies yet. This movie was on that list too.
I remember I did have one problem with the movie, not the movie, the plot.
Right.
And not the movie.
Right, no,
Okay,
right,
in
the
other
plot.
words, in the plot when the girlfriend wants to look at the bodies, and
Yeah, I thought that was
It does. He
weird.
was fine
yeah,
with that,
it
the
was
father.
like
I didn't know why she was there.
and not only that, it was quite disrespectful to. I thought it was my initial reaction is this is so disrespectful to the people who these
dead
bodies
people.
belong to, right? That I just that you want to look at, and that he would be like okay with that. The older man, yeah, I thought
kinda
that
shows,
was
like-
odd.
She really didn't need to be there. I don't know why she was there.
I don't know why she was
Well,
there
it shows
either.
that through history that disrespect continues.
yeah.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah, but I'm surprised that the father, who he's
yeah.
the one who
He
says
would've- I thought he would've gone, yeah.
he's the one who says to the son when the son goes, "She's a witch," and he goes, he stops and he goes, "There are no witches. This is a young girl who was tortured by these people. There were no witches," and so he's aware of that. And that he would just like let her, for her own curiosity, look at dead
but
people.
on the same thing, I thought he did it because, you want to look at a dead body? Go ahead. You're never going to look at another one again.
But why would he? Learn her to what?
2 points of view.
When she wanted to look at the second one, he
If
was
she
okay with
then
that.
you go, dude, she's got a problem. She doesn't want to look at the second one. Start looking for another one.
Another girlfriend, please.
Yeah.
yeah.
do
Unless
the
you're,
ratings.
unless
I'm
you're
dying
thinking
to
of being
know
a
what the ratings
are.
pathologist. Okay, so are we ready to?
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to give this an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, normally I thought it was gonna be like a B movie, but it actually started getting really interesting. So I'll give it a 8 also.
I give it a 7.
Okay.
Well, at least
So cheap.
So yeah, he holds on to those ratings.
he
We'll be back.
Not cheap.